Housekiss, welcome to today's Big Brother 18 updates and spoilers. Our Housekiss of the day is Adam Schroeder, and he wants to know what are my favorite and least favorite seasons and why. And Adam's favorite is season 14, and his least faves are 9 and 15. Well, I think I'm going to have to agree with you with 9 being one of my least favorite. It was a crazy season, but those feeds were freaking ratchet. I can't. I don't want to talk about it. Favorite seasons, I love 2, I love 7, Dr. Will, season 6, love that cast, it was crazy. I don't know, I have a lot of other favorites, but those are like, that's my like top tier favorites. Alright, otherwise, like, when I don't like when there's like no power shifts at all. That is really boring to me, so that's usually a turn off Big Brother wise. But anyway, thank you so much for your support, and if you guys want to be house guest of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so yesterday, James and Corey were having a strategy chat in the HOH in the have not room. Off to a great start. Strategy chat in the have not room, and they both want Michelle out this week, and they know that Paulie does as well. But there's a division in the guy group because Victor and Paul are like, no, we want Zakiya out. So that's all fine and dandy, but they're getting a little bit with Paulie because they feel like he's trying to be like, oh, I'm in the middle, you guys want Michelle out, you guys want Zakiya out. So Corey feels like Paulie's trying to place the blame on them in front of Victor and Paul, and he doesn't like that. So also, Paulie asked James to use the America's Care Package power on him so that he wouldn't have to vote this week. So Corey's like, I'm not cool with that because Paulie is trying to stay cool with Victor and Paul, and also he doesn't want to lose that jury vote. Like, why do we have to take the fall and he gets away with not voting? Like, that's not cool. So he's telling James, do not cancel out Paulie's vote. Make him vote and take responsibility for it. Ah! Alright, so then James is just like, yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm going to have to think about it. We'll have to get all the guys together, hash it all out. So then James and Nicole touch base, and there's more talk about how they want Michelle to leave this week. They're tired of her being a loose cannon. They want her to go. So they're talking about how they're going to try and convince Victor and Paul that Zakiya should be the one to stay. She sucks at competitions, and Nicole keeps saying, like, Paulie can control Zakiya. Did you see what happened in the last HOH competition? He just told her to drop out, and she did. So she keeps pushing that. They're talking about her like she's some freaking remote control airplane, and Paulie just needs to take the batteries out, and she'll die. I don't know. It just sounds ridiculous. But anyway, Nicole is telling James, just so you know, Michelle has said that she wants Natalie out. So James is like, oh, really? I'll hold on to that. Thank you. So then Nicole asks if the 4 of them are, like, rolling together. So that's supposed to mean herself, Corey, James, and Natalie. I feel like Nicole really wants some sort of, like, double date alliance. She's really into that. And James is just like, yeah, sure. James does not trust Nicole, but he wasn't going to say that to her, obviously. So then James relays this conversation to Natalie, and he's telling her, I haven't heard this personally, but Nicole told me that you are on Michelle's target list. And Natalie's just like, no. Michelle and I are great. We've got a great relationship. Nicole is just saying that because she wants Michelle out. You go, girl! Okay, so then they talk about this week's vote, and James is saying that Michelle should go. Again, he's tired of her BS. He's sick of the crying, all that stuff. So then James brings up, he's been noticing that Paul and Victor have been getting very close to Bridget lately. They've been hanging out with her a lot, and he's worried that they're trying to pull her in, and then they will also pull Michelle in and make some sort of squad of 4 and come after everybody else. So he's not feeling that. He's not for that. So Natalie's like, easy solution. We should freaking pull in Bridget. Come on. And I've got to say, I'm a little surprised that they didn't think of that sooner, because I thought after Frank left, they would for sure try to pull in Bridget, because Natalie and Bridget had already been working together before that. I mean, they did have, like, that kind of breakup when Bronte was evicted, but I thought that they would try to get her back, so I'm surprised they're just thinking of this now. But anyway, James is asking Natalie, what do you think we should do? And then Natalie freaking breaks down her view of the game for James. This girl is so perceptive. She's got everything figured out. It was super accurate. She's like, okay, here's what I'm seeing. Don't be offended. But you, Paulie, and Nicole are all somewhat playing Derek from BB16's game. I know you guys all have some sort of relationship with him. Are you working together? Ah! She was pretty bold asking that, but James is just like, no, of course not. But we know that Michelle and Natalie had been talking about this before, the three of them having that connection to Derek, so it's pretty interesting that she brought that up. And then Natalie's like, let's be real. Paulie is calling all the shots in this game. He is the puppet master. He's got freaking Victor and Bridget and Paul and all these people working for him. And then she's saying Nicole is playing everybody. And she also says that Nicole used to be super close with Michelle and Zakiya, and then she dumped them for the guys. Yeah, it's accurate. So then she's also saying Paulie is playing Zakiya, and they're not going to date after the show. I'd have to agree with that. I just don't see how it could happen. But Natalie is just hitting these things right on the head. She's trying to have a serious game talk, and James is just like joking around with her, like, look at my little smarty, blah, 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 blah. She's trying to have a serious game talk, James. Don't patronize her. Okay, so then James, Nicole, and Paul were discussing the vote in the safari room. Of course, Paul is pushing for Zakiya to go this week. We know that's what he wants. And he's saying, Zakiya is so calm and cool. She's going to be better in competitions than Michelle. Can I just say, they both suck at competitions. That's not really a valid argument, okay? Let's just throw that out, because no. So then James and Nicole, we know, both want Michelle out, so they're pushing for that. But James is like, oh, it doesn't matter which one we get rid of because they're assuming it's going to be a double eviction this week, and they are correct with that assumption. So he's saying we'll just get rid of one of them and then send the other out right behind him in the double. And then Nicole's saying, Paulie can control the key. It's the same thing again. Did you see how she jumped off of that thing when Paulie told her to? Yeah, we saw, and it was really sad. So then, Paul and Nicole are both like, James, you can just cancel out our votes if you want, because he's got that special power. And James is like, I don't know, I'm going to have to think about it. But Nicole's saying, we should all meet up again sometime after the power veto ceremony, after those nominations are for sure locked in. Let's just chill for now. All right, so she doesn't want to talk about it now because it's time for Nicole and Corey's hammock date. So they were having some like cuddle time out there, and oh my god, we had to sit through Nicole talking about how Natalie is like in love with Corey. She's not! Are you kidding me? Stop it. Ew. Okay, so then Nicole is like, wow, I wish that Paulie would wake up so I can talk some game with him. And Corey's like, what are you going to talk about? And Nicole's like, I just like talking game with him. So Corey is like, you should be careful when you're talking to Paulie. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but you need to be careful. And then he's like, I'm not saying that Paulie's playing both sides, but... And Nicole's like, oh, I'm fully aware that Paulie is running the house right now. And Corey's like, yeah, me too. Then what are people doing? Okay, so then Corey mentions, oh wait, sorry, I just want to say about that, does anyone else have like are you having a flashback to 16 when, I feel like Nicole knew that Derek was running the house and she just went along with it. Hello? Are you trying to play the same exact game? Because that's what it feels like. But anyway, Corey mentions how Paulie was wanting his vote to be canceled out, and again he's saying like, no, we can't have that. Paulie's got to vote this week. Corey wants his vote to be canceled out. Okay, so then Victor and Paulie were chatting, and we know they have opposing views about who should be going this week, so they're jumping ahead, planning out for the double eviction, and they're just like, should we take a shot at James? Maybe. That's what they're saying to each other, though, but I don't think that Paulie is actually loyal to Victor, but they're saying we could either put him up on the block right away with Natalie, or we could backdoor him, put up Natalie and Bridget, and then, you know, if the veto isn't used, they can just get rid of Bridget. We know that Paulie wants Bridget out. He's made that very clear many times. So then Paulie was discussing the double eviction with Nicole and Corey, and he's saying here, like, I want Bridget out. There's no mention of James here. He's saying, I want Bridget out, and then we could also go after Victor. So he's saying James to Victor, and then to Nicole and Corey, he's saying Victor. Crazy, right? All right, and then the worst part is when Nicole's like, well, sorry, let me set this up for you. Nicole says, guys, if I win HOH in the double eviction, I'll just do whatever you want. No! You're killing me! I feel like Tyra Banks on America's Next Top Model when that girl, like, messes up and she was just like, I was rooting for you! That's what it feels like. Okay, so James and Michelle. This is an important conversation, though. Pay attention, please. James and Michelle had a late night chat. It was like 4:15-ish in the morning, I want to say. And Michelle is asking him, do I still have a chance to stay this week? And he's like, I think both of you guys have a chance. So he's telling her, you need to go out there and campaign, tell people what your game plan is, and tell them that they don't have to be worried. So Michelle's like, well, I'm going to tell you right now. If I win the next HOH, I'm not going to put up you or Natalie. Like, I love you guys. You're great. I'm not coming after you. I want to make a big-ass move. So James is like, oh, yeah? That sounds exciting. So then Michelle's saying, I just want to be here for Zingbot. This is, oh my god, this is like the new I just want to make it to jury or Big Brother Canada last season when Cass was all just like, I just want to make it to the gala. That's what that is. Alright, so then Michelle's asking him, like, what votes do you think I can get? And James is like, well, me, Natalie, and Paul, like, you only need 3 because I've got that special power. And Michelle was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. So then she's telling him a little bit of information. She's like, I'm seeing that the house is full of duos right now, obviously. And Victor has been trying to pull in Bridget. They're, like, inseparable now. So you need to watch out for that. And James is just like, yes. Alright, so then James goes and talks to Natalie in the storage room, and he's like, I'm starting to think maybe we should be sending Zakiya home this week, because he says they need to weaken Paulie, and if Zakiya stays, Paulie would definitely use her to do his dirty work and possibly take a shot at them, but he's not going to do that if he doesn't have someone to do it for him. So he's saying, we gotta, you know, diffuse that situation before it gets really dangerous. So James is like, I can cancel out Paulie's vote and then either Corey or Nicole's vote, and then we'll only need 3 to keep Michelle this week. And they know that Paul wants Michelle to stay. So he's telling Natalie, you stay close with Michelle so that we can work with her because there's that weirdness between James and Michelle. So he's telling Natalie, like, this is your thing. Work on it. And Natalie's like, yeah, I'm into it. I like Michelle. Let's do this. Okay, so it could be a turning point for the week. But it's still early. They just had the power veto ceremony this morning. As expected, Paulie did not use it, which means that Michelle and Zakiya are still up on the block. And Michelle really made a statement with her speech today. Apparently, she called out Paulie on all of his competition wins. She was like, he wins 50% of the competitions that he competes in. So she's definitely not going to be getting Paulie's vote, that's for sure. But she started her campaigning after the ceremony. She was talking to Paul. She was telling him, you guys can use me as a pawn. You can put me up every week. I don't freaking care. I want to make it to Zingbot. So she's telling him, if I win HOH, I'm not going to put you up. I'm not going to put Bridget up. I'm not going to put Victor up. So she's telling him, I want to make a big move, and it's going to be something that other people want too. So she's a little mysterious about it. But eventually she reveals, I want Paulie out. Ah! So Paul's like, oh, okay, well, you should talk to Victor and Bridget about it, kind of like take the temperature of the group, and we'll see what's up. So then it's time for PP chat. So Paul reports back to Paulie about his chat with Michelle, but he leaves out some important details. So he tells him, yeah, Michelle said that she wants to make a big move that people want, but he's acting like Michelle was talking about James, when we know that Paul freaking knows that she wants Paulie out. So he's keeping that information to himself. But Paulie's like, oh, well, she's definitely talking about me. Like, she freaking called me out during her speech. Like, she's absolutely coming after me. And Paul's just like, nah, is she though? Yeah. Okay, so then Paul brings up some concerns. He's worried that after the double eviction, if they do get rid of Michelle and then, say, Bridget, he and Victor are going to be the only non-couple left. And he feels like they're just going to pick them off. So Paulie is like, oh, well, if you feel that way, like, maybe we could take out Nicole in the double eviction instead of Bridget. Do you actually think that Paulie would do that? Because I don't. But then he's trying to, you know, he's trying to explain this more, and he's saying, oh, we really need to split up Nicole and Corey because those two are always talking game, and Corey never reports back about it, so we're going to have to, you know, clip that. So he's trying to tell Paul, like, we'll get rid of Nicole, but I just don't see that happening. So we're still a few days away from eviction at this point. It's really interesting how things are shaping up. The house definitely is divided right now. I want to know, who do you guys want to go this week, and who do you think is going to go this week? Let me know. And until tomorrow, with lots more campaigning, much love.